So, Mr. Hatfield and I were doing another one of our little mini reconnaissance missions. As you can see, we are in a fairly remote area, and we drove by this. Happened to see something, so stopped and got out. I want to know what you think. Saw these small tracks right here. You can see, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like one at the foot turned around. Here's, oh, there's another one here. But you can, kind of hard to see because it's in the sun, but you can almost see where the toes were on this one. See that little notch? See that little notch right there?
It's flat too.
Mm-hmm. Now, yeah, I want to do that. There's Mr. Hatfield's.
I just want to see how much I would see in there.
Here, it almost looks human because of the way this is bent in. But if you look at this one over here, it's not like that. And if you'll notice, most humans, like Mr. Hatfield's footprint, the toes are not dug in, sunk down as deep as the heel, because we walk heel toe. But you'll notice that every single one of these, especially this one, it looks like the toes have had more weight put on them than the other one. Now, I'm not saying that these tracks are anything. I want to know what you think. See if we can get you a better view over here.
But there's nothing out here, nothing around here. People aren't just gonna pull over and say, hey.
Let alone be walking around barefooted.
Yeah, go step in this real quick and see what it feels like going between your toes.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Weird. I don't know what to say about it. Well, you guys saw what we saw. Chime in, let us know what you think. If it was a juvie squatch, it was definitely a small one. What do you think those are? 6 inches long?
Yeah.
5, 6 inches long, maybe 2 inches wide. You know, whatever it was wasn't super heavy. It didn't sink down in there very much. Either that or it was a little bit drier before and it stepped there, and then maybe it rained on top of it. You could tell it was an older track. So anyway, all right, we'll let you know if we find anything else. So, we are out at the Canton Wildlife Management Area, FYI. While we were in Canton, we ran into a guy, and he was telling us about some of the local legends, whatnot, folklore, cryptid type stories. And he said that when he was in high school, which was back in the 80s, that they used to come out here to the lake, you know, to party, drink beer, whatnot.
The gravel pit.
Someplace called the Gravel Pit, which is kind of closer to Longdale. And he said that they used to have something that they called the Whistler out in the woods at night that would kind of circle around their little area where they were, the gravel pit where they were, everybody was parked. And for you young people, back in the olden days before internet, we used to actually meet in person. We would go to these remote locations where hopefully the cops wouldn't show up. And I'm talking about real cops, not cyber cops, you know. And we would sit around and drink alcoholic beverages and actually talk to each other face to face with our mouths. It was a really strange time to be alive. I wouldn't recommend it. You know, you could get somebody's germs or something. I'm being bad. Anyway, but he was telling us that this Whistler character was known to be out and around that area.
Everybody knew him as the Whistler.
Yeah. He made it sound like everybody, in the area knew who the Whistler was, and and I thought it was kind of interesting. And I've had other people tell me about other sightings out here, and there's also been reports of screams and howls coming from the woods, and if you can't tell from the background here, it's pretty damn woody out here. There's ample space for the big man to come in here, set up shop.
Someone's grandma said they saw him out here.
Oh, that was my friend Robin. Yeah, she said that her grandma had seen him out here whenever she was younger, and I believe it. I don't remember. This is the first time I've been out here in several years. I do not remember this place being this overgrown and this wooded. I mean, this is some pretty woolly stuff. So apparently, the town of Canton has a lot of history here of this kind of activity, and it's been going on a while. And we're going to look into it. Okay? So we're headed back home. Closing thoughts. Both of us looked at that footprint pretty closely, and I'm of the opinion that it was definitely humanoid. Definitely. Whether or not it was, somebody's kid that was over there playing in the mud along the side of the road in a wildlife management area. In the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that's pretty tough. Another point to note, I was over there walking around in my Crocs, and that grass was so stiff that a blade of that grass actually went through my Crocs and poked me in the bottom of the foot. So you're talking about grass that's pretty harsh on a bare foot, and that was definitely a bare foot. Another point, it did look like an older footprint. Jeff and I think Jeff's in agreement with me on this, is we believe that several weeks ago when the print was made, that little mud hole had water in it. And my best guess is that juvenile was in that mud hole, and that had water in it, probably snatching up frogs and stuff like that as a food source, probably, hunting for small stuff. So, and that makes sense, a small squatch could probably pop a few frogs in their mouth and make a pretty decent meal. Pure protein, by snakes and stuff like that. And, that area over there around Canton and in the wildlife management area, it's also full of hogs. There's an abundance of hogs. So there's another big food source for you. We've been talking a lot about, there's blackberries in this area. There's also sand plums. There's tons of sand plums everywhere. So, with hogs and all the fish and everything else, a small amount of bipedal critters could live out here and have very little impact on the human population here, where they're not having to come up here and go through our trash and dig in the barn and steal dog food and stuff like that. The stuff where they get caught. They don't have to do that here because there's literally an abundance of food. We haven't even talked about the deer population yet. So why would they? Why would they endanger themselves? They could live here year round, for all I know. We're going to be doing some more investigations coming up soon, and we're going to see if we can't get some vocalizations out of them. Need to let it cool off a little bit before we start doing that, but we're going to get on this and we're going to see what we can come up with. All right, we're out of here. Oh, and one more thing. Mary, I'm sorry we didn't have any video footage of Bigfoot for you. I know I'm a big disappointment to you. But if you would, just let us know where he's at so we can go get this footage. We would be more than happy to post it so that you could be happy. You know who you are.